Speaking of relationships, Alyssa Thomas, during the playoffs, she spoke out and condemned racism.
Did Alyssa Thomas just get exposed for one of the biggest lies of the WNBA season? Jonquel Jones certainly thinks so, and she's got the proof to back it up. From missed calls on body checks to calling out Clark's fan base, Thomas has been on a rampage. But Jones had enough and finally stepped in to shut it down with one powerful interview. You need to hear what she said about Clark's supporters and how Thomas' story is falling apart, especially after her rough playoff performance. In this video, we'll dive into Alyssa Thomas's history of bullying Clark and her fans, why she's lost all credibility, and how Jones completely shut down Thomas' claims. It's time players started speaking up, and the bullies are finally being called out. Before we get into it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Let's get started.
It's been a lot of nonsense. I think in my 11-year career, I've never experienced the racial comments from the Indiana Fever fan base. We had her face on a serious matter that happened in this world, and it's unacceptable, honestly.
Guess what? Alyssa Thomas is at it again, and this time she's taking shots at Caitlin Clark's fans. Thomas is like that kid in school who always stirs up drama, can't resist it. Let's rewind to the beginning of the season. Thomas, an experienced vet, was one of the first to doubt Clark's ability to make it in the WNBA. Apparently, being one of the most exciting college players we've seen in years wasn't enough for Thomas. Remember that tweet she posted questioning Caitlin's skills? Even Cheryl Swoops gave it a like. But hold on, it gets even crazier. Fast forward to August 28th, and Thomas turns a regular basketball game into what feels more like a WWE match. She body checks Clark so hard, it looked like a hockey hit. And the refs? They didn't even blink. What game were they watching?
Take another look here at the heavy contact.
Now, Thomas has the nerve to accuse Clark's fans of being racist. Seriously, this is turning into a soap opera. It's like she's trying to win an award for the most outlandish claims in sports. Let's be honest. Thomas has a clear pattern of bullying. It's not just about basketball anymore. First, she doubted Clark's talent. Then she got physical with her on the court. And now she's going after her fans. What's next, Alyssa?
A little bit of a shoulder there. Not a little bit, a lot of a shoulder there for Alyssa Thomas.
Yeah, they're not going to look at this. I thought they might.
Here's the real twist. Thomas has spent all season calling fans bullies, but she's been playing the role of the biggest bully on the court herself. It's like the girl who always cries foul, but then gets caught committing fouls nonstop. Now, things are taking a turn. Someone is finally standing up to her, and it's none other than Jonquel Jones, fresh off her finals MVP win. Jones is about to drop some serious truth bombs, and when someone with her skill and reputation speaks out, you know it's going to make waves. Jones isn't just defending Clark, she's ready to call out the whole situation for what it really is. Trust me, this is going to change how people see the drama unfolding in the WNBA.
You have to be careful when you say like the Fever fans, because I don't think it's the Fever fans. I think it's the people that wanted Caitlin Clark to be a certain type of way and they thought that she was. And so they became Caitlin Clark fans, assuming that. And then they realized like, oh no, she's actually not racist.
Grab your popcorn because things are about to get real. Jonquel Jones is coming with the receipts and Alyssa Thomas might want to find somewhere to hide. The days of bullying without facing any consequences. Over. It's about time someone called out this nonsense, and something tells me Thomas isn't going to enjoy being on the receiving end of the truth. Karma's funny like that, isn't it, Alyssa? If you're enjoying this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We really appreciate your time. Now, back to the drama. At first, it seemed like the WNBA wasn't ready for what Caitlin Clark was bringing to the table. But this isn't just about Alyssa Thomas running her mouth. No. There's a new player making her move, and she's got a championship ring to back up everything she says. Jonquel Jones is about to drop some truth bombs that'll completely shake up everything you thought you knew about this whole situation. So, who exactly is Jonquel Jones, and why does her opinion matter? Let's break it down. Jones isn't just a random player getting involved in the drama. She's a WNBA champion, a finals MVP, and one of the best players in the game. Oh, and she was Caitlin Clark's teammate at the All-Star game, the same team that beat Team USA, which, by the way, featured Alyssa Thomas. So, yeah, when Jonquel speaks, people listen.
It almost felt like the WNBA wasn't ready for what Caitlin Clark was going to bring with her.
When Jonquel Jones speaks, the entire league listens, and this time she had a lot to say. Jones didn't just back up Caitlin Clark. She went all in, calling out the nonsense for what it really is. She's not holding back, folks. This is a superstar who's willing to put her own reputation on the line to stand up for what's right. And in a league where players usually stay quiet to avoid stirring the pot, that's a huge deal. Jones is making serious waves, and I'm here for it. But wait, it gets even better. Jones didn't stop at just defending Clark. She took aim at the bigger issue. She's calling on the WNBA to step up and protect its players from baseless accusations like this. In fact, she straight up challenged the league, saying, "I hope the WNBA gets its act together and puts systems in place to make sure this doesn't just become empty talk." That's a bold statement, and it's a challenge to the entire league.
Minutes. Clark, the flick ahead. Oh, what a dime from Clark! And Jones lays it in. A gorgeous pass from Caitlin Clark.
What Jonquel Jones said next is going to make you rethink everything you thought you knew about this drama. She's not just defending Caitlin Clark. She's calling out the entire hypocrisy of the situation. Jones is shining a light on the double standards, the selective outrage, and the way certain players are being targeted while others seem to get a free pass. Let's be real here. Jones is putting herself on the line. She's a champion, a superstar, and she's using her platform to stand up for what's right. That takes serious guts, and it's exactly what this league needs right now. Here's the real kicker. Jones is basically saying what we've all been thinking. She's calling out the elephant in the room that everyone's been avoiding. The WNBA has a bigger problem on its hands. It's not just about one player or one fan base. It's about the entire culture of the league and how it handles conflict. And honestly, that's something no one can ignore any longer.
I wanted to latch on to Caitlin Clark and then use her as, this fuel to be able to be the way that they wanted to.
This isn't just about defending Caitlin Clark anymore. Jonquel Jones is setting a new standard for how players should treat each other and how the league needs to protect its stars. She's drawing a line in the stand and daring others to take a stand too. So, what's next? Well, that's the million-dollar question. Jones has opened Pandora's box, and there's no going back now. The league, the players, the fans. Everyone's going to have to choose a side. And something tells me this is just the start of a much bigger conversation.
They want her to be the representation of their racism and their view on the world, and she's not like that.
Everyone's been pointing fingers at Caitlin Clark's fans, but what if I told you they've been blaming the wrong group? Jonquel Jones just dropped some serious truth that's about to flip this whole controversy on its head. Let's take a moment to talk about these so-called Caitlin Clark fans. What's really going on here? Jones isn't pulling any punches. She's making it clear. It's not about the Fever fans or Clark's true supporters. It's about a small group of people who tried to turn Clark into something she's not. You know the type? Those who always seem to make everything about race instead of just enjoying the game for what it is. Jones is laying it out bluntly. Caitlin Clark isn't that way at all. In fact, she's the complete opposite. Remember when Clark came out and made it clear?
I think that for us, we err on the side of professionalism in a lot of different ways, and we can only control what's in our organization within our people. But I don't think that, that should be laid on us 12 or our, who we try to represent for ourselves. And so, I respect her comment and what she has to say, but I don't think it has anything to do with it.
That's not someone trying to stir up trouble. That's someone trying to shut it down and set the record straight. And then, Jonquel Jones drops another bombshell. She says she's never experienced this kind of racism or bullying herself. That's a powerful statement, especially considering the heat she's facing for speaking out. She's making it clear that this isn't about her. It's about standing up for what's right and calling out the real issues.
People should not be using my name to push those agendas. It's disappointing. It's not acceptable. But yeah, this league is a league I grew up admiring and wanting to be a part of. Some of the women in this league were my biggest idols and role models growing up and helped me want to achieve this moment right here that I get to play in every single night.
Now, if a star player like Jonquel Jones hasn't experienced this kind of racism or bullying herself, what does that tell you about the WNBA fan base as a whole? It tells you that this whole narrative of a racist fan base is built on a lie, and Jones just exposed it for what it is. But here's the million-dollar question. If these aren't real fans, then who are they? Let me tell you, they're not the die-hard supporters who fill the stands and cheer their hearts out. They're not the kids wearing Caitlin Clark's jersey and dreaming of becoming the next WNBA superstar. They're not the millions of fans watching at home, supporting Clark and tuning in to every game. They're not the fans like us, who are calling for player safety, fair officiating, and more accountability from the league. No, these are the bad apples, the people who couldn't care less about women's basketball and just want to stir up drama.
Have you ever had any encounters with things like that since you've been in the WNBA?
No, never.
What's really frustrating here is that the NBA is now acting like they'll use their resources to fix this, but it feels way too little, too late.
A lot of really good fans, whether they've been fans for 20 plus years or whether they're new fans in our league.
Where were they when Caitlin Clark was getting hit on the court? Where were they when Alyssa Thomas was stirring things up? So, what does this mean for Clark and the future of the WNBA?
I came to see Caitlin Clark tonight.
Oh, gotta watch number 22.
I've been watching Caitlin for a couple of years, and since then I've dreamed about coming to a game.
It means the league has a choice to make. They can either let a few loud troublemakers control the narrative, or they can step up and protect their stars.
My expectation is to be one of the best players in the world one day. I wouldn't expect anything less than that.
More history for the Fever rookie.
At this point, continue to be myself, and I think a lot of good will come from that.
Here's the truth everyone's been missing. The WNBA is thriving. TV ratings are hitting record highs, attendance is growing, and Caitlin Clark is drawing in fans from all over.
I hope that the WNBA gets it in order and make sure that they have like things in place.
But Jones had enough and finally stepped in to shut it down with one powerful interview. You need to hear what she said about Clark's supporters and how Thomas' story is falling apart, especially after her rough playoff performance. In this video, we'll dive into Alyssa Thomas's history of bullying Clark and her fans, why she's lost all credibility, and how Jones completely shut down Thomas' claims.
Continuing to uplift this league in a very positive light is the best thing that we can do, because there are so many great players, there's so many great teams, there are so many positive storylines that can be written and celebrated, and for me, that's why I became a fan of this league, is these people were my idols. I grew up wanting to be like them.
It's time players started speaking up, and the bullies are finally being called out. Before we get into it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Let's get started.
Continuing to uplift and represent this league in a positive way is the best thing that we can do.
Guess what? Alyssa Thomas is at it again, and this time she's taking shots at Caitlin Clark's fans. Thomas is like that kid in school who always stirs up drama, can't resist it. Let's rewind to the beginning of the season. Thomas, an experienced vet, was one of the first to doubt Clark's ability to make it in the WNBA. Apparently, being one of the most exciting college players we've seen in years wasn't enough for Thomas. Remember that tweet she posted questioning Caitlin's skills? Even Cheryl Swoops gave it a like. But hold on, it gets even crazier. Fast forward to August 28th, and Thomas turns a regular basketball game into what feels more like a WWE match.